All right, so
There's
we
a
got
lot.
Vanderbilt is up by 5 right now on Bama.
They need to keep the ball, then burn the clock, but I don't think they can do it, man.
That was
Second
probably like a 40-point. That was probably a 40-point spread. Speaking of spreads, we were 28.5. I was at the game. Brett was at the game. I sat right behind the recruits. Had really good seats. Brett was like in a helicopter above the stadium. That's how high he was. I saw where you were, Brett. Yeah. You were way up there.
It's more comfortable. You get a seat, so that's good. You get a seat.
Yeah. I would rather sit up there.
You can see plays develop up there. I'm
exactly.
still lost half the time, like what happened, but I mean, still, it's a good time.
Yeah. I would rather sit up there because you can see the whole field. Yep. You get a seat. You can move around as much as you want, pretty much.
Yep.
Where
it was packed in there, man. 110,000.
Yeah, where I was, so. I literally had I think his name was Travis Johnson. He was right in front of me. It was guys that I didn't recognize. Brett might have recognized some of them because he's recruiting, but I was literally had my knees in their backs. One of them I think had two of them. I don't know if it was their if it was their kids or not, but there was two like 1-year-olds there. And I think it was like probably the players' kids or sister. I'm not sure, but they were right in front of me. They were both like two of the guys that were in front of me. Like I was like kneeing them in the back, like dropping candy on them, and they were cool. But
that's funny. The best recruit that was on campus today, well, at the game, not on campus, but you know what I mean. Brandon Finney, if that name rings a bell. Oregon picked him up. He goes to Madonna. He's in Maryland's backyard, which we recruit really well from Maryland. He was Penn. Oregon came out of nowhere a few months ago. Probably tossed some money at him, and he committed to Oregon. Well, we got him on campus today, so it's flip season. Let's go. Let's get Brandon Finney. He's a safety. He could be a receiver. He's an athlete. He can do whatever he wants. So it all depends on what he wants to do. He can play any position. Safety, cornerback, receiver. Let's go. Let's do it.
Yeah, the seats are really good, but they cram you in there. And
yeah, they do.
I went there with someone, and she's tall like me, and like we're both tall, we both have long legs, and we're both either sitting sideways or with our legs like wide open because and then the people behind us, like we had like a whole family behind us, and the same thing for them. I mean, they're crammed in there too. But I mean, the seats were insane. Like, I mean, I was on TV at one point. I can't remember when. I think it was when I was walking with my food. But yeah, it's the layout there is obviously different. The last time I was there was in 2021 for the Indiana game at home. Michael Penix was the quarterback, and that was when our run game was atrocious. And a couple things about today. Well, first of all, Beaver Stadium looks different. They have the video boards. The concourse is pretty nice, but if you go to like a concession stand, you have to find the one that has the chicken baskets. They have like fries, chicken basket ones. They have hot dog ones, and then the coolers are set up real nice too
on the side.
Yeah. Like and by the way, State Light is like one of my favorite beers now. It's so good. It's an NIL beer.
I see a lot of people drinking it. Yeah,
man, it's really good. Like it's I don't know who made. I don't know. I know the company that made it, but man, like they did a good job on that. But yeah, it's the way it's laid out. It's pretty nice. I mean, it's and I don't know if it was like this before, but they have like it had to have been. But they have the bathrooms like in the middle, and there's like 2 lanes on each side at the bottom at least. And then, we were trying to get through to our seats because we came in on the opposite side and the tunnel was closed off because the players were about to come out. So we had to go up and around and then back down. And, but yeah, it's laid out pretty nice, but it'll be nice once they have the seating a little better. Cause I think in the future now, everyone's going to have their own seat. I don't think there's going to be any more bleachers, and they're still going to have 100,000 plus. There's 110,000 today, and the section that we were in, I think that's the part where they're literally tearing that whole side down. We were on the sweet side, we were behind our sideline, and I think they're tearing that all down, and then they're building it up into like this new stadium. So the video boards are just like an early addition to this.
Yeah.
And just overall, it's laid out pretty good, but
they made some improvements. Yeah.
Yeah, I would still rather watch it at home. Yeah. But I zoomed in on Joel Klatt and Gus Johnson. I zoomed in all the way on them, and I have like pictures, like, because they were literally right across from us. We were at like literally the 50. But it's interesting how the recruits are there. They're all there. There was a ton of them there, and most of them left after the third quarter. I'm assuming they were going back to like eat or something, because they have them set up real good there. I saw Steve, who does the recruiting. He was like ushering them in. I'm going to try to have him on soon. We're trying to figure that out. But I was going to say hi to him, but he was like too far away. But first, like, a couple things. First and foremost, I wanted to watch the O-line and D-line more. I'm always distracted by the play. But first and foremost, to start out, the timing on that play action pass was off. Aller was slow on his throw to Fleming. And then another time he was slow to Fleming. So the timing of that was not right. It's really frustrating when UCLA kept throwing those short passes and they kept converting. But the offense, man, and I don't know. I don't know if they can win a national title or go undefeated with this type of these performances, that's fine. But I don't think they will. And I pretty much right now with the way this offense is, and if Drew Aller doesn't leave, or he does leave, I just, under James Franklin, I don't know if we're ever going to see what we want to see as fans. So that's where I'm at right now. Like Jared said before, that we did not show dominance today. I mean, that was a horrible team we played. And we have like absolute freaks on our defense, and being there closer, seeing them hit, hearing them hit. I mean, that's a hard hitting defense. That's a good defense. I don't think Abdul, I don't know. Let me look at the stats here, but they didn't really show any dominance, man. I mean, the defense did what they needed to do, but the offense, I just don't get it. I don't understand this. The person I was there with was laughing because she just, like, every time something happened, I just like would sit there and shake my head. I'm like, what is going on right now? Because I was pretty mad. But so we got, let me see, we got
Liam Clifford, man, legacy game for him.
Yeah, Jalen Reed had a sack, Zane Durant had a half sack, Amin had a half sack. So how? And if you see these guys in person, I mean, I literally could have reached out and touched them pretty much. Dan Connors looks bigger than all of them. He's still massive. But Abdul Carter just looks like a freak. He's a freak, man. He's like so big. Denai is big. Tony Rojas is big. Our defensive backs are big. Like, they're all big. But I don't know. It's just the lack of sacks, for one thing. I don't know, man. I wasn't very happy with it. I think it's going to catch up to him at some point. Now, I think we can keep winning against any team we play, but I just want to see more exciting offense, and we're just not seeing it. I mean, we had literally Quentin Martin is our backup running back right now, which I like because I love that guy. But the offense just wasn't there against this bad team that we played, and I don't get it. So whoever wants to talk, you can talk.
I want to do it. Can I do it? Can I do this? Vanderbilt just upset Alabama.
Is it over?
Wow.
It's over. Alabama lost. They went down, man.
Still a minute left, right?
We're going up. No, they lost. I have it up right now. Wow. Dude, how did that happen?
Well, it all started with the pick six in the first half, man.
Right.
And it wasn't even Jalen's fault. He threw it. It hit off a guy's helmet, and it went right in dude's hand, and he picked it. He ran it back.
First win versus AP number 1. Snaps 23-game losing streak to Alabama. So they haven't beat Alabama since 2000.
That's at home. Oh, my gosh.
Wow.
They haven't beat them since 2001.
So this is the thing. That makes me feel better about where we're at. So let me go real quick. Okay.
Yep.
So this is
Ohio
this
State
is what I'm
was
saying.
up 7-0 at halftime, right?
Yeah. Yeah, and then they blew the doors off in the second half. Yeah, so they started slow like a lot of people. This is the problem. Third down play calling is continuing to piss me off. It's making me angry. That's when I was shaking my head, Mark. 3rd and 5. Let's run it with Katron Allen, who, by the way, wasn't his fault. They weren't blocking for him the whole game, so it wasn't his fault. He had 3.8 yards per carry, which isn't awful, and he had a bigger load. But think of it. Do the math. If he's having 3.8 yards per carry, it's 3rd and 5. Why are you running it? That pissed me off. 2nd and 13. Why are you running it? You got a yard that time. It was 3rd and 12. Those were both drives that we kicked field goals. Why? Because of the stupid play calling to not try to get a first down, to throw the ball. At least try it. Drew, 70% completion percentage. He had a couple off throws in the first half. He was on point in the second half. He was throwing just fine. 237 yards, 17 for 24. He was fine. Stop taking the ball out of his hands. Stop putting Bo in the freaking underline. I'd rather have Ty Warren take the snap than Bo, just because he's less predictable at this point. We've used Bo for 2 years now on what he's going to do. You know what I'm saying? So some of the play calling is making me angry. What made me mad, which I knew it was going to happen, I left with 2 minutes left because I knew UCLA was going to score on our backups, by the way. So I just left. I'm like, I'm not even watching that because I know we're not going to get the ball back and do anything. So overall, really, it was 27-3. We should have had my prediction was like 40-something to 6 or something.
Yeah, 37-15 or something.
I don't think we would have had 40-something, but we certainly should have had 30-something, and that's what I would have been fine with 35 or something, and that's what we should have had. So, but without Nick Singleton, we didn't even address that. It was a game-time decision. Franklin thought he would have him today, but you know what? We didn't need him to get banged up in this game. We need him next week more than ever. So let him rest. Let him rest up until next week. We'll be just fine.
There's no reason to play him.
No, there's not. But overall, I mean, the slow start, 3 and out, that was annoying. Tom Allen's first quarter defense is awful. I don't know what he's doing, but he needs to get his head out of his you-know-what. Tom Dowland's third quarter defense is unstoppable. Every third quarter, we shut people out. That's like a thing for us. In the third quarter, people don't touch us. Mm-hmm. Fourth quarter, for the most part, they had that one big pass or that one big run, and that was all they had against us. But and the sack thing, they got some sacks. I mean, it's just when they're getting the ball out so quick, it's hard to sack somebody. It really is. They were throwing the quick passes.
Yeah.
And another thing, if you guys didn't know, Ethan Garbers didn't start. Their QB, that was his first start ever. So you got to give him props. He played really well. That was his first start ever. We had no tape on the guy. So the fact that we had no tape on him but his high school film, how do you prepare for him? You can't. So he's 6'4". He runs fast. He's a big guy. I mean, he was poised. You got to give him – like he was about to get whaled a few times, completed the pass. So you got to give him credit. Give UCLA credit. I met a couple of the fans. They were really nice people. You know, props to them for coming the whole way out here to watch their team get gutted, really. Mm-hmm. Yeah, overall, I was not happy with the performance. As Sean Taylor likes to say, I was happy with my performance today, if you guys have seen his quotes on Twitter. Sean Taylor, yeah, that's like one of his things. He'll like post, I was happy with my performance today, this and that. But anyways, upset that we didn't score more. I hope they just we're lollygagging and not, trying to do much in this game, and they're saving it for next week. That's what my positive mind is saying. My negative mind is saying, what are you doing on third down? That's all I got for now.
Yeah, it's definitely the play calling, man.
Mm-hmm.
But go ahead, Jared. It's the play calling is horrible. The players are fine. I've never been more okay with a player team ever in my life, even though they're not producing. I've never been more happy.
It's situational. Like, it's not like your sitch was just all bad play calling. Like, all of it was bad. There's like really good play schemed up, like the one to Clifford, the long pass, which Drew really underthrew him. He should have just wailed it at him, and it would have been a touchdown. But I think they're trying to underthrow it just in case they can get a PI, so that's what they're doing. But whenever they're waiting for the ball to come, like, you're also giving the other team a chance to pick it off. So stop doing that. But yeah, overall the play calling is okay. It's just situational. It's bad. So go ahead, Jared.
So first off, did we all know we were going to win today?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So let's get that out of the way. We knew this was going to be a win. This has been, if I'd like to think that I've watched Penn State for all of my 37 years, but I can remember at least 30 of them, at least. For the last 30 years, I have watched Penn State. It's a lather, rinse, repeat thing. The running backs are always the key focal point of the offense. The defense is always the defense. Like, it's just the most important thing about the team. And things don't necessarily go how they're supposed to. I have pretty much felt this for many, many years. So does this surprise me? No. I had a final of 38-10. That was what I thought was going to go down. Everyone, of course, thought they were going to cover the spread. I didn't think that. Not that UCLA didn't make it more tough or anything. It's just we ourselves make it more tough for us. Like, we're
that play right there, Jared, was my favorite play, that fourth down stop.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, listen, these guys, they're always constantly prepared to do something, either with the run or stopping everything on defense. I've known this for Penn State for so long. That is just how they operate. So this game overall, was it like a throwaway? Kind of, because again, we knew we were going to win this game. There was nothing UCLA that was going to throw at us that we're like, oh my goodness, we're going to be upset. Nothing. So I'm not saying we were kind of thinking ahead for next week, but that's why Nick Singleton didn't play. That's why Drew Aller probably was as conservative and or was taken out of the game probably more than he should have. Yeah, I mean, in reality, it should have been like 350, honestly, for how much we needed Drew to show that he is ready to do something with the offense, with the wide receivers, and, of course, with Mr. Tyler Warren. He is now becoming the darling of Penn State. He is just one of the coolest guys on the field right now. I love watching him play. He's so good. He's so good, dude.
And,
yeah. So
in that one interview he did, he looks like an English teacher. You ever see that one?
Yeah.
No.
But,
he looks
dude,
like
seeing him standing next to Ty Howell today, I'm like, holy crap, dude, that kid is massive.
So, I mean, in the end, what you have here is typical Penn State fashion. We always rely more running the ball and being conservative against the teams that we know we're going to beat. And then it's like we prepare next week for what's actually going to come. Because, listen, if I'm right about this, this is our first road trip in 6 years. I mean, we have been at home for a long time. They are really going to have to do everything correct. Now, as far as coaching goes, and I think we all collectively understand how we feel about Franklin, in the sense, like, it's definitely more of a, I don't know what he's going to do today. Is he going to give us something to look forward to? Most of the time it's something that just makes me shake my head and make me kind of put my hands like this on my head. It's just like, there's a lot of things that coaching and just play calling in general, like you said, you did the math. It's not that hard. I mean, and again, I'm not saying it's an arrogant thing, but it seems to me like we are constantly trying to find every which way to make us go, are you that arrogant, where you just look at your play calling and go like, we don't care if they get the ball back because defensively we're going to take care of you. And you're right. The touchdown was a complete excuse me score at the end. It should not even been close. This defense is fantastic. As always, can I even put this defense in a category of where they stand in the centuries ranking in the Penn State category? Because as far as I'm concerned, it's number one all the time. I mean, yes, Ohio State always overall has the complete team because they have the better recruits. I get that. But if you look at everything as a whole, Penn State is constantly, decade after decade, just constantly in the top 5, passing, rushing, yards per game. Everything you see what they give up, it's laughable. Like, no one can really penetrate. I mean, we had one game against Bowling Green. Did they beat Texas A&M? Am I right about this? Bowling Green?
No, they played them hard. They lost by a touchdown.
Oh, okay.
But so Texas A&M they just destroyed Missouri today. So
I mean, it's not like Bowling Green is actually not that bad.
We're probably moving up to at least 5 now.
Yep.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, definitely 6. Definitely. No matter. Yeah.
Bama's cooked. Like, I don't think they're getting in.
Dude, this is why you can't predict anything right now with the NCAA at all. Like, okay, Georgia was number 1. Alabama embarrassed them for one game. Like, it's like if we did a best out of 3, I think Georgia would beat them maybe the other 2 times. Like, sometimes you just have off days. So it's like Georgia then takes care of business against South Carolina?
Who?
Georgia. Who'd they face?
Yeah, South Carolina.
Yeah, so they took care of business. Oh, it's Auburn. Okay, so they took care of business in Auburn. So yeah, you have Ohio State doing what they do with like close games, and then they separate themselves at some point. That I'm not saying that Ohio State is it, but we have all seen this. We've all seen this all the time with it. We stay close, and then they separate at some point. That's just what happens. They just have that one play that goes down the field that we weren't prepared, or they're doing some trickery that, you can't do because, again, best wide receivers, best like options that you have with recruits. Like, it makes a difference. So ultimately, what you have with a game like this, you're expecting nothing but what we saw from the defense. Again, I can only imagine what they have against USC in USC. Dude, if we don't have the biggest test coming for this, if we find a way to take care of business collectively, like, again, no mistakes, none of this bad play calling, none, zero, zip, zero, zilch of any bad play calling for next week. Can't have it, can't afford it.
Yep. There's some good news. 2 penalties today. We improved on that. That was very important moving forward because that cannot happen next week. Like you're saying, we have to play a clean game. We had I can't even remember what the penalty. We had 1 holding call and something else. That's all we had all game. So I'm happy with that. Also, if we can play bully ball against USC next week, I think our best way to win that game is what we did at Illinois. Get them off the field, have our offense on the field, because they can pass the ball. They have really good receivers, a good quarterback. If we make it so they can't play offense, we could win. So I think that's how we have to play it next week. We can still pass the ball, but with Singleton back in action, let's run the ball down their freaking throat like we did at Illinois. I don't care what the score is. We can beat them like that. Let's go.
Yeah, honestly, I totally agree with it. So what you have here now, to Mark's question, and like, could Penn State actually win a national championship with this offense? The answer is yes. The answer is, believe it or not, I know this in this day and age, we are trying so hard to make every game like it's a, Madden score or like, some video game scoring thing. Like, we want high scoring all the time for all offense. Like, I get that, but let's face it, guys, Penn State, that's not their MO. It would take them decades for them to change their ways, which has always been defense first. So with this amazing defense that we have, it's going to really be, if we can win against a top 5 team, we can, but I will tell you this right now, it's going to be like 13-10, 10-9, 9-6. Like, it's going to be the ugliest scoring you've ever seen because the defense will have to use every ounce of their talent to be able to pull it off. That's just what it's going to come down to. If we are going to do something in the national championship conversation, it's going to have to come down to those types of scorings.
Our motto is going to be, does anybody want to play hockey? Didn't think so. Because we're going to score. Does anybody want to play hockey?
I just want to say this about UCLA today, too.
They played hard, man.
Yeah.
They did.
They came in with a really good game plan. So what they did was they took advantage of our 4-2-5 with those quick passes. And then on offense also, what they were trying to do, I knew what they were trying to do. They're trying to keep our offense off the field because they ate up so much clock in the first quarter. And that was really irritating. But we started out, we went 3 and out, I think. I think we went I don't know if we went 3 and out, but we stalled out. And again, the play calling is just horrible. And the run blocking really isn't there. That pulling guard that we had today, like, just completely obliterated that defensive end.
That was amazing.
What's his name again?
Vengo Luane. I forget how to pronounce his name.
Vengo.
He actually was skipping off the field later in the game. I think he's okay. He might have just got cramped up. But, yeah, he came off the field later in the game. So, hopefully he's all right for next week because he's our best lineman. But let's just be honest here.
I'll say this, too, just being there in person, seeing them in person. Football is way different now. Back in the day, you had your Jimmy Kennedys, your Michael Haynes, your Tom Bahalis, LeVar Arringtons that were just like Jimmy Kennedy. I mean, that guy was massive, and these guys just looked huge. They were basically like tall bodybuilders with pads on. That's what they used to look like. And these guys are still big, but football is different in the sense that it's way quicker. It's more it requires more athleticism, but they're still pretty big. Like Zane Durant, man, like, you know, obviously he's a D tackle. Like, you look at him, he doesn't look like that massive. Like, he's a big guy, but you don't see him be like, oh, he's definitely a D tackle. But man, he's such a phenomenal athlete.
I haven't seen a D tackle built like him. Like, he doesn't have an ounce of fat on him. He's just solid brick. Yeah. Like, the dude's insane. Like,
he's a freak of an athlete, man. Like, I don't know how tall I can't remember how tall he is.
He's only 6'1", 290. 6'1", 290 is insane. Yeah, to be 6'1", 290 pounds and look like that, your body composition has to be alien. Like, you're an alien. I don't know what else.
Yeah,
I mean, look at him.
I mean, that's the thing about him is, like I said, he is a big guy, but I think his size will, because of his height, that might hurt him. But he should be a draft pick, no doubt.
Yeah.
Because he's a freak.
Rutgers lost to Nebraska 14-7. That just happened. So Rutgers is no longer undefeated.
And Nebraska is like,
that's a hockey game.
I don't know what's going on with them, but I tried. So there was this person behind me today, and she said she's from New Jersey. I said, oh, okay, because she said she married into the Penn State family. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I said, oh, are you a Rutgers fan? She said, no, definitely not. And they started playing Bon Jovi. You know, the scene, Don't Stop Believing. Rutgers always plays the final scene of The Sopranos when he puts the quarter in the what are those things called again? We put the quarter in
jukebox.
They always play that before the game, right?
Yep.
So I knew you would know what it was, Jared. But I said, This is a Rutgers song. He said, no, it's not. It's for everyone. I'm like, okay, well, you missed my point. I said they play this literally before every game. And I don't know if she never saw The Sopranos or what, but I said that's literally
apparently not.
Song. Well, dude, that's almost 30 years old.
Rutgers can literally like own that song as far as I'm concerned. It's Tony Soprano. That's where he went.
Yeah.
So.
But, are you talking about Journey, bud? You keep saying Bon Jovi. That's Journey. Don't Stop Believing is Journey.
Oh, Journey. Yeah.
Okay. Why did I say Bon Jovi?
I don't know. Maybe you were thinking Living on a Prayer?
I was confused for a minute, too. I was like, Did they play Bon Jovi today? I
don't
remember.
But yeah, I just said like, this is a Rutgers song. She's like, no, it's not. So, all right.
If Rutgers wanted to buy the rights to that song, they'd have to cough up a serious amount of money they probably don't have. So Penn State
Stop Believing. You want to buy the rights to Don't Stop Believing, dude? That would be like the entire.
It was a joke to saying like they own this, so it should be a record.
Right, I'm just saying that's like $1 billion probably.
Exactly.
You know how much money they probably paid just to play that that clip of that. It's the end of The Sopranos, man. It's one of the most famous endings of all time. They probably paid a ton of money just for that, unless
Sopranos,
unless the director gave it to him. But yeah, Journey, not Bon Jovi. I don't know why I said Bon Jovi, but yeah, Journey.
Oh, real quick, I forgot. Did you guys know who the offensive coordinator is for UCLA? Check this out. Guess who it is? Eric Bieniemy. You know that name? Kansas City Chiefs, 2 years in a row. So they have a good offensive coordinator. Obviously, it didn't work out long term for him, but that's why their scripted drive when they came out, they looked really fresh. Eric Bieniemy, however you pronounce his last name.
Well, Coach Norwood's on that staff too.
That's UCLA's offensive coordinator. So they have good coaches. They just don't have the players right now. So, I mean, you got to give them credit. They fought. Just we're a better team.
I kept seeing clips of that UCLA coach at his press conference at the Big Ten Media Days.
We're in LA.
Yeah,
that's all he had.
UCLA.
That's all he came with.
We're blue and gold. We're in LA.
I was like, dude,
our school was named UCLA because we're in LA.
I could have freeballed it better than that. Like, holy crap! And I don't even go there.
I was like, dude, I literally know more about UCLA than this guy, and I know nothing about him.
I had an ongoing joke today. This week, I said, it's like UCLA. No, I see a team that's about to get their butts whooped.
What's your thoughts on PSU's shot to win the Lambert Trophy? NEC Blitz. You're getting like random comments here from that people, which I like.
Yeah.
By the way, this podcast is almost at 500. We're at 460 right now.
Oh, buddy, you're picking it up.
The Lambert Trophy. So Lambert Meadow. Does anyone know what that is?
Yeah, I'm kind of blanking myself.
What it is. There's a lot of trophies, man. So
there are so many.
Trophy was an annual award given to the best team in the East in Division I FBS, formerly known FBS.
You're all fired.
Formerly 1A.
Hey, man, we can only fire ourselves, so.
All right.
You're all fired.
Yeah. All right.
Well, when was the last time we won it? When was the last time we won that trophy?
Right.
Who are we competing against?
Yes, please. NSC Blitz, please tell us the last time we won this.
Yeah, give us like these random facts, please. 2022. All right, who are we competing against? Are we
everyone in the East? I mean,
are we competing against like Ohio State and stuff, or what? Like the East?
I mean, I'm assuming that too. I mean, that has to be Big Ten involved.
Well, who's going to beat us for the East trophy? We're the biggest.
Jack Lambert. I know that name. The Jack Lambert.
Yeah, of course. Yeah,
that's what it is. Jack Lambert.
That's the only thing I could think of.
Huh.
It's the linebacker trophy. That's what it is.
Oh, okay.
I think it's an annual award given by the Touchdown Club of Columbus to the top American collegiate linebacker. So that's what that is. I knew it was.
He's talking about that, like the Lambert, like the.
I mean, yeah, that's got to be the award? 12 Eastern teams. Well, is there also? Are there 2 awards then? Or is there one for
the West?
There must be the Jack Lambert Trophy and
you're all fired. I got you, man. 12 Eastern teams. No, dude. Lambert Meadowlands.
Yeah, I don't know.
Hey, listen, this is what I love about podcasts. Everyone's getting educated. It's not just us. Yeah. We host it, but we're allowed to be educated too.
That's not one of the trophies I'm usually looking at. I mean, usually you look at Heisman, you look at
the big one.
Yeah, I mean that's the big one, and then I can't think.
You know what trophy I'm trying to win? the national championship trophy. That's the one I'm focused on.
Yeah, I mean,
dude, that's a good segue.
Big Ten championship would be nice. Yeah.
But yeah, give us some facts on that, NEC Blitz. We appreciate the comment. But yeah, I didn't even know what that was. So thank you for telling us that.
Right. Now I'm going to look that up and wonder if we are going to be representing the Lambert trophy next year.
If we're going to be competing against like Rutgers, Brown, and like Altoona, then yeah, we're probably going to win it. So
we might get that "you're all fired" comment again. I'm just.
I think he brought that up. I think because we're talking about Rutgers and Tony Soprano because of Meadowlands. You know that's. Yeah. But
well, today Rutgers had a swing and a miss, and they lost to Nebraska. So it's a tough loss.
Wow,
it is.
Rutgers is no longer undefeated. That's wow. That's
what I'm saying.
That's so surprising.
Hey, they had a good little run. Indiana looks. I mean, they beat a crappy Northwestern team today, but they're 6-0 right now. So,
they're fascinating.
They're fascinating. Signetti, he say Indiana. Signetti, the coach, like when asked about like what's it, he's like, I win. Google me. Like that was his response. That is amazing, dude. He said, I win. Google me.
Listen, I mean, we try to keep it, focused on the topics at hand, but it's like, does James Franklin say that at all? What did I just say? He has 92 regular season wins without a playoff appearance. Like it's him and who's the guy they just brought up? It was like Oklahoma State, Kurt Franzit, the Iowa coach. There's several of these guys. Like he's like so celebrated for how much he can stay relevant and win and have big winning seasons, double digits every year without getting all the way. Now, again, does this happen if they don't move to a 12-team playoff? No, of course we don't. We stay out of it because, once again, it'll always be someone from the SEC, another team from the SEC, Ohio State, potentially Oregon? Like it just seems like that's what it's always going to be, those top 4 teams. So yeah, they had to obviously blow it up for 12 teams and get an opportunity for someone else to join. And that's the thing. We are very much in this conversation every year, I always think, because again, defensively, this team takes care of business. They're always relevant when it comes to the defense. They're always going to stay in the season because of the defense. Now, can James Franklin make decisions for Drew Aller that's going to make him look as elite 5-star recruit as we have all seen he should be? Yeah, I mean, I'm waiting really for this game. I'm waiting for that game where that guy with that much talent and that much, cachet that he has with his name that's going to go out there and show it all. And does it have to happen at USC? I would like to think so. I'm not saying he needs to go out there and throw 300 yards, but gosh, whatever they're going to do offensively, we need to match.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So right now, from what I saw, we are a 3.5-point favorite over USC.
Really?
Yeah. Which makes sense because USC. USC got beat by Michigan. If we're playing Michigan this year, I think we beat them.
But fun fact about Michigan, they're down 7-0 after the first quarter, so you gotta love that. Washington is up, so
no, I'm not happy about that when it's the fourth quarter and they're down 7.
USC.
But
I think we are the better team, and I think
I
think we're gonna win. Knock on wood.
Bully ball, like I said, let's play bully ball. That's how we have to beat them.
But yeah, at the end of the day,
if it was a 1.5 spread, I would be more comfortable. Like if that was the bet, like if it was 1.5, I'd say that's respectable because yes, Penn State is the better team on paper. Like everything looks better on paper for Penn State, but I think being 3.5, that does like scare me a little bit because it'll
move. I think it'll move in USC's favor. I really do. In the next week, there's time. But to what NEC Blitz said, Rutgers lost today. Pitt's undefeated. What's their name? Syracuse lost the game.
Like, how do you win this trophy? How do you win this Lambert Meadowlands trophy? I mean, how did we
pick the most dominant team in the East? I don't know.
Like, who the heck beat us at like any of these years? That's what I want to know.
Well, and we're in different conferences than all these guys.
Well, obviously we didn't win it last year, so someone else won it in 2023.
How have we not won this trophy since like the beginning of its freaking existence? Like, look at these teams we're going up against.
Yeah, I mean, Pipping 5-0 is a rare occasion. That doesn't happen. They should be 3-2. Like normally they'd be like 3-2 right now, or like, that's what the record would be right now typically. But,
and they're not ranked.
NEC Blitz. What's your team? Do you have a college football team? If you still here, so we can chat back to them.
Yeah, thanks for posting that, man. Like that's a lot of information. I didn't even know what it was.
Nope.
Let's go.
I was like getting educated.
Yeah.
They should have a legit trophy in the NFL after Jack Lambert.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I saw this clip of Jack Lambert the other day. He was a Pop Warner coach after he retired. And I knew a guy from this one gym I went to. He knew Jack Lambert. He said he's a game warden. He's a warden of some. I think he said a game warden of some sort, something like that, in Montana or something.
I would not want to run into that guy, no matter how old he is now.
He's pretty well known for like being out in isolation, kind of by himself. Like he's pretty well known for that. He's a nature guy. So,
dude, ESPN just killed me. ESPN posted the score of Alabama Georgia from last week and the score of Vanderbilt and Alabama this week, and said life comes at you fast with a laugh emoji. That's crazy.
Wait, let me
like
see.
I said, dude, like one week you see this and next week you see the next.
It says life comes at you fast. It's got both scores up there.
Man, that is unbelievable that Vanderbilt would just beat Bama. Like, that's insane, man.
I was watching some of that before I was passing out on the couch, and Vanderbilt was just out toughing them, dude. Like, they were playing old school ball, like fake runs, like to like pitch catches, like just like there was this one, like actually I did one to Tyler today, I think, just like a shovel pass, and they did this one, and in between people, I was like, there's no way that guy's catching it. That's going to be a fumble. The dude catches it and runs for like 30 yards. I'm like, what's happening right now?
Well, it's a really cool tie-in. Not that this is like the coincidence or anything like that, but a cool tie-in to Vanderbilt right now. James Franklin. That was his first head coaching job.
He did really well.
Yes. Looks like the legacy is going on out without him. So
I will say this.
It took a while, but
I also wanted to say this, like, because Pat Kraft is always on the sideline. I saw him today, and
yeah,
if they keep winning this way, fine. But with this amount of talent that we have on this team, and if we don't win legitimately and we continue to struggle on offense, I don't care if it's Kotelnicki's first year. He has all the talent in the world. He's one of the most talented rosters in the country, and the two other rosters in the country that I think are going to be the winners at the end of the year were Bama and Tennessee. Now I think it's Tennessee and Ohio State. If you can't win with this amount of talent, I know he needs more weapons on offense, but if you can't win with this amount of talent, then I do think that as good as Franklin is at recruiting, we're never ever going to win the big game if he's the head coach. I just don't think it's.
Well, the bright side is the receivers that we're recruiting right now for 2025 and 26. There's some game changers. I mean, like, I'm talking size, 6'2", 6'2.5", 200 pounds already. Like the guy we just flipped, Matthew Otten from Virginia. He's coming in next year. He's already college ready, like size wise. And then you got Lyric Samuel, which is a cool name, from New York. He's a little skinny, but he's already 6'3", runs a 4.5 at 6'3" or 6'4", which is insane. In high school, by the way, which you can get faster after that. So they're bringing more playmakers in. So it's a wait and see thing. But I'll tell you what, Harrison Wallace, dude, he runs routes very well. That one play today where he kind of went back in, caught it, broke the tackle, and ran like another 10, 15 yards. Keep giving Harrison Wallace the ball, man. He looks great.
But
he looked good.
This is a James Franklin recruited team, and he gets 1,000% credit for that. He is very, very good at recruiting. I mean, this team that he's assembled is unbelievable.
Yep.
And just think about if we had Jameel Lyons on our team today.
Dude, yeah.
I mean, again, he would have probably been a first-round pick. Like, imagine we had him and Kavion Keys both.
Do you know who was a split second away?
That's not his fault,
Do you know who was a split second away from having 2 sacks today? Dennis Sutton looked great today, man. He was a split second away, both of those plays, where he hit the quarterback and he threw the incomplete passes. I'm talking, he was close. So he's starting to come around, man. By the way, Jared, I texted Mark the other day. I went to my barber, and Dennis Sutton is sitting in his chair. So he cuts Dennis Sutton now, yeah. My barber cuts a lot of athletes, but yeah, he's the best in town. And he's cheap. $16 before the tip. Owen's Barbershop by Wegmans.
What is it?
Owen's Barbershop. It's over by Wegmans.
Yeah. Who's your barber?
Josh Welsh. He's the best in town. You walk in, he usually has a hat on, but he's like half Chinese, half black. Like he's like the fifth guy. You walk in, he's like the fifth guy there. He's fantastic. He actually went to my high school, so I knew him from that.
I've heard of a guy. I heard a guy that I know works there as a barber. But I almost went there one time, but they only take cash.
Yeah, they do. But they have an ATM there now. So.
Which means they may be involved in the black market in some form or fashion. But yeah, so
$16. I mean, that's pretty good. So.
No, that's really good.
Yeah. And they do really good. So.
I pay with tip and everything. I pay $20 where I go, and it's right by where I live. And she's like the best. I would like recommend her to people, but she doesn't have openings. So because she's just slammed with people. And it's her own business. You know who I'm talking about, Jared. I don't want to say her name, but
wait, I do know who you're. I'm just saying. I'm not trying to be specific, but it's like when you leave where you leave from, like it's about 2 or 3 miles down the road.
Yeah, it's right across from where you work.
Oh, okay. Yep. Okay.
Yeah. So, yeah, that's cool that he goes there because he could just go to Fitted downtown, but that's like $50.
Expensive, man. I went there once, Fitted a couple years ago.
I'm
never go back.
So happy I have this problem.
I won't even say why I won't go back there, but let's just say when I went there this one time, I sat there forever. People that came in way after me that like knew the guys, they would just cut in front of me. I was there for like 2 hours. Or an hour and a half. It was so long. I'll never go back. Yeah.
Could have watched a movie.
Yeah, it was bad. Dude. I'll never go back. That was like probably 4 or 5 years ago, something like that.
Sounds like it was 4 or 5 years you were waiting.
I think Mark's froze.
I did think he did freeze. You're right. I mean, he's not moving.
He said he'll be back on.
Yeah, I mean, but ultimately what you have here is, again, this was kind of
Listen, it's 14-0. Let's go. That's all I got to say. Sorry, you go.
For Washington, seriously.
Yep.
God, man. I like it.
Wait,
it's going to make it all the more impressive when we take them on for the big.
Hello? All right.
I don't know what happened.
Okay. Gotcha.
I don't know what
happened there, man.
Hey, bud.
Dude, my computer, and it does this randomly. It just reset the whole thing. Isn't that weird?
Yes.
Weird.
Well, I mean, in the very beginning of the show, this guy here, like, he was going to start saying something. He went out, came back. Like.
Oh, Brett, yeah, I did that. I didn't.
Mark, okay.
Mark, you did miss it, though. Washington's up 14-0, so it's already a good night. So let's just continue. Washington's beating Michigan 14-0. Let's go.
All right. Hey, man, I'll say this. Like, like what's happening right now is working out really well for us.
Yep.
Like, Bama went down. Missouri went down.
Right.
Washington could beat Michigan. because that looks good for us if and when we beat Washington, because that's the whiteout. But if because the tickets today, because again, here's the thing: no matter what, I like watching games at home. Now, if it's Ohio State, I don't think I could ever pay like several $100s to go watch a James Franklin coach team because I would just get so mad. But like, here's the thing about Ohio State. I would go watch that, but the tickets are like insane. Like our seats today were like $600 for one seat, and that's going to be jam packed in there too. Now, there was like a couple seats around us that weren't filled, which is nice because again, like I'm 260, man. Like I'm not like sitting like this. Like you really can't. I need some room.
You're a tight end.
Yeah.
You're a shorter version of Tyler Warren. Basically, he's 6'6", so he's a little taller. But
yeah.
He's what? How tall is he?
Tyler Warren is 6'6", 256. He's gigantic.
Oh my goodness, that's a tank.
He's a human mammoth.
He's freaking huge.
That is massive.
Most tight ends are 6'4", 6'5". Yeah, Drew Allen is 6'5". Most tight ends are 6'4", 6'5". Like even what's his name? Taylor Swift's boyfriend. Can't even think.
Travis Kelce.
Travis Kelce is 6'5", so Tyler Warren's bigger than him.
So at my other job, we actually had the privilege of getting Penn State players and doing like an autograph thing. They were supposed to go to the State College store that I work at, but they actually came to us because something went down and they actually got transferred to us. So I met two of the Penn State players. I cannot remember the other dude's name for the life of me. He was a defensive end. He was a huge dude. Man had to have been no shorter than 6'7". He was massive.
When was this?
It was just about a year or two ago. I think it was 2022. Yeah, they were doing something before they went to their bowl season, and they were signing autographs at my place. And
you know what Abdul looks like?
The only one that tall would be what's his name, dude? He's a 6-year senior right now, number 92.
I think he went. But I know these guys both went to the NFL. Both of them went to the NFL the year after.
Okay, then
yeah, so this was like 2 years ago. They came to my place I work at, and they were signing autographs. I met Brandon Strange, tight end.
Strange, yeah.
Awesome, dude. I was telling him about where he should go in the NFL, and if I'm right about it, I think I named Jacksonville. I'm pretty positive I said that for him. I'm like, dude, I think, yep. I said to the guy, I'm like, you should either be going to the 49ers to replace George Kittle, or you could be Jacksonville's next big answer to tight end. And he's like, maybe, always that thing you always tell fans or people you meet. It's like, it was a really cool thing to.
Now he needs a QB is the problem. So his QB is terrible. So the worst QB I've seen. Like recently, it's been bad. Last 2 years,
we just lost to the Steelers just lost to the Colts, dude. Not to segue up to the NFL, but we just lost to the Colts. They're taking on the Jacksonville Jaguars this week. The Colts, the Jacksonville Jaguars are 0-3. They're favored by like 3.5 points.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
They're 0-3, yet they're going to beat Indianapolis. If we can't beat them, there's no way Jacksonville's beating them.
No. But, yeah.
So overall, at the end of the day, overall, at the end of the day, we had K-Tron and Quentin Martin were our two backs today. We didn't have our starter. I love Quentin Martin, but he's not our starter right now, and he has no experience. Liam Clifford was our leading receiver. You never want to see that.
He had a good game.
Yeah, I mean, good for him, but and then Tony Rojas was our leading tackler. So, what do you guys think overall of the game? I mean, what do you think overall of the performance?
That's good for Tony Rojas because he hasn't been tackling well as a whole. Like he's been just having poor tackling. So it's good to see that he wrapped up on some tackles today. Overall thoughts, like I said, they go away from the pass on these third downs. That's more of a play calling thing. I think the team played pretty well overall offensively. A couple missed throws, couple drop. There was a one pass, I think, to Amari Evans. He should have caught it, like it hit him in the hands. So a couple of things to clean up. Offensive line, run blocking wasn't great today, but they did good last week. So you know that they can do better. They just have to do that. So I think next week they'll be hungry for the ranked matchup against USC, and I think we'll put some things together.
Overall, I'd say if I was to give it a letter grade, I think this was a B+ game. I wouldn't give it an A. I mean, obviously the defense gets the A. If that's what makes it a good grade, it's obviously from the defensive side. They're a solid A all the time. They showed up today. They took care of business when they needed to. Overall, with the offense, I'm going to say, I don't want to be too cruel, but I mean, I'm going to say probably C+, maybe B-. Like it's somewhere in that vicinity. So they definitely need to stop just giving us these excuse me plays where it's like, why we shouldn't be questioning at this point when we have a small sample size of the season where we're going into the heart of the toughest part of the schedule. Like we're going up against USC, and help me out who we play next.
We're at USC, and then we got a bye. Then we're at Wisconsin. Then we got Ohio State.
Okay. Now, I mean, Wisconsin, what? 2-3, 3-2, something like that.
Yeah, they're not great. They're okay.
They're okay.
They beat up on who'd they beat up today? They beat
Purdue.
They beat Purdue. Yeah, Purdue's they're a lost cause. So yeah,
Purdue's awful.
Purdue just fired their offensive coordinator. That's where their life is going. So
I can't base anything off of Purdue.
Yeah,
if we beat Purdue, that's not nothing.
But I would say
be 4-2 coming into our game.
Yeah, I would say B- for offense. I agree with that, Chair. Like a B-. It can be better, and I think it will be better. They just have to call better plays.
Yeah, so we got USC next week again. Like I see no reason why we can't win this game. Even doing what we're doing now, I still think we can win. The only thing that will happen is if we get skittish and timid like we usually do against good teams. Now, we have a new offensive coordinator, which helps. I don't think we're going to see a Mike Yurcich type of BS, freaking horrible, literally like a 3-year-old could call better plays type of game against USC. But, I think overall I would have to give them like a C+ overall. The defense, in my opinion, did really good because they held them. They were just taking advantage of our 4-2-5, man. They were throwing those quick passes. Bieniemy, Super Bowl winning offensive coordinator, is their offensive coordinator. And, Coach Norwood, he's on the staff too. He definitely helped, I'm sure, kind of be like, hey, this is what Penn State is going to do. This is what they've always done. And we didn't have our starting running back. Again, our depth, no matter what, is limited because more limited. It's not limited. It's more limited because of like a Jameel Lyons not being on the team anymore. But overall, man, like we look pretty good, but I have to give them like a C+ because we didn't play like we should have. And again, we're gonna find out, man. Like we're gonna find out, especially against Ohio State. I really, really, really hope this isn't like a James Franklin, like, oh, we can lose to Ohio State and still get in. No, we need to beat USC. We need to beat Wisconsin. We need to beat Ohio State. We need to beat everybody on our schedule. You know how crazy it would be if we went undefeated?
It'd be crazy.
And we could.
We can.
I'm going to throw one little thought into this, but just one little thought. If we take on Ohio State, and they may be the number 1 ranked team at that point, if we can lose convincingly, if we lose by like a field goal, and if we're like down by something, if we kick a field goal and miss or something of that nature, that would be the only. I'll be heartbroken too, but I'm just saying that would be the one way I'd be like, yes, we still can have a shot at doing something. Because, again, we fought them every single step of the way. That's the thing. I just don't want to see us completely collapse. That's where I'm always at with Penn State, where it's like, when's the time of the game where that's all going to fall apart? Or how are they going to have the big pick? Or when is it going to, go the other way? Like, that's always the problem with Penn State. If that's the thing that always knocks them down in standings, if we can't, somehow mesh with anybody else, that's where it all comes down to. Just please start making better decisions at this point.
2017 and 2018 games when we lost by a point where we shouldn't have lost. Those games. That's what we're talking about. But instead of falling, like being up and falling down, even if we're down and make our way up to show some fight. Like show some fight. That's what we need to do. Michigan scored, so it's 14-7. I'm not happy.
You guys have anything else to say about Penn State?